Last lesson of the chapter. Your test is 1 week from today. 1 week from today, you will bring your factoring pants and wear them proud. Yes, make sure you bring your factoring pants. Okay? Now, this is your last way to factor. It's called perfect squares. And what is called perfect squares most often times than not is perfect square trinomials. Okay? Alright. Ah, crap. I'm tight. Alright, perfect square trinomials work in a very specific way. If you look at the top, it has a trinomial that says it's the first term a perfect square. Yes. Alright, 16x squared is a perfect squared because you could write that as 4x quantity squared, which is what they do right here. Okay? So the first term of the trinomial has to be a perfect square. The last term has to be a perfect square, which is 9. Alright? The weird one's in the middle. Okay? And the way it's written like this is the middle term twice the product of the square roots of the first and last terms. Okay? That's the actual words. And actually, that actually is the way it's supposed to be. The square root of 16x squared is 4x, right? Because it's, unsquared it. So 4x times 3 gives you that 24x. So the pattern to these is this: a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. It factors out a plus b, or if it's a minus sign, it factors out a minus b. They will be the same thing. Hence, perfect square trinomials. Just like how your perfect square numbers, they come out like 25 is 5 times 5, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. 5 times itself. These trinomials will work out to be themselves times the same thing. X plus 4 times x plus 4. X minus 3 times x minus 3. The nice part is you can factor these for the most part the exact same way you always have, and they'll just work out. Okay? So you don't necessarily need to learn anything brand new. Once you start getting coefficients in front, you'll have to do a little adjusting. But to start here, they're not terrible. Okay? You just do it the exact same way you've always done. So you look at the first one, it's x squared plus 10x plus 25. You get a multiply number, that's 25. You get your add number of 10. And you sit there and you go, okay, what two numbers multiply to 25 and add to 10? And that answer to that question is 5 and 5. The end. Okay. Now you will see this, since there's two of them, you could also write it, and you'll see this more often later on, x plus 5 quantity squared. You'll see it like that. So you can do either way. Roseman.
Do you prefer the quantity squared?
I actually do.
Okay.
Yeah. Second way, quantity squared way. Okay. And then the second one, so multiplies to 49, adds to negative 14, so it'd be what?
7.
Nope.
Negative 7.
Negative 7. There you go. Watch your signs. X minus 7, x minus 7, 4. X minus 7, quantity squared. Okay, now once you get into the coefficients part, you can still do it with your bottoms up Nagroski technique. Okay, the one we talked about with when you have a coefficient in the front, multiply them together. You kind of almost don't need to though. Okay, because now that you guys understand how trinomials are going to factor, they're going to factor into two binomials, right? Okay, so basically all you really need to look at is this. If it's going to be 4y squared when I FOIL back, what needs to go here and here if they're going to be the same thing? 2y. If the back two are going to FOIL to 9, what do they need to be? 3 and 3. Since this sign's a plus, these signs are pluses. If the signs go plus plus, then your signs will be plus. Or you can write it as 2y plus 3 y squared, which helps you understand why whenever you see this and I say express it or evaluate it, you FOIL it out, right? Make sense now? Okay, good.
What about the 12?
It'll FOIL out to it.
Because
See, what's
2, that's 6.
2y times 3 gives you 6. 3 times 2y gives you 6. 6y plus 6y, that's 12y. Okay, because these will FOIL back. So you don't even need to worry about that. As long as you get your ends right and your signs right, you're good. You could do a quick FOIL to check it, you know. Yeah. So the second one. What times what will give you 9x squared? 3x. So that goes in the front. What about 4? 2. And since they have to add up to a negative 6x, the signs are going to be?
Plus or negative?
Nope.
Negative, negative.
Negative, negative.
Oh, never mind.
Because it's going to. And then your back end adds, multiplies positive, right? Negative times negative still gives you positive. So that still holds true. Okay. All right, first one. 9y squared plus 24y plus 16. 3y plus 4. 3y plus 4. Or 3y plus 4 quantity squared. Second one. Dylan.
Would it be 2a?
No. Paget.
A plus 5.
No.
I knew I was fine. I got it right.
Okay. So we have 9x squared minus 48x equals negative 64. So first thing, yes, is add the 64 over. Make it 9x squared minus 48x plus 64 equals 0. 3x what?
Plus 8.
Nope. 3x minus 8. There you go. X minus 8, 3x minus 8 equals 0. Okay, now I'm going to go move it. Whoops. Hold on. I'm going to move up here, okay? Now, here's where this kind of becomes nice. All right, we're going to learn a property today. It's called the square root property. Okay? And here's why this works. I'm going to whenever you solve an equation, that's the word I'm looking for, you're trying to figure out what makes the equation what? True. Okay? And every time we've been doing these quadratic equations, these x squared ones, it's always been two numbers. Because these two binomials have always been the same, and we've always tried to figure out which one makes these 0. Because then, this number times becomes 0 times this one equals 0, and vice versa. It works both ways. Now they're the same. So how many numbers are going to make this be 0? 1. There's only one number that you can plug in here to get a true statement now, since they are the same. To take care of that, here's what you do. You write it as 3x minus 8 squared equals 0. And then what you're going to do, and some of you may not know this, you're going to take a square root of both sides. Square root of 0 is 0. And a square root cancels out a squared power. So it leaves you a 3x minus 8 equals 0. Add 8, divide by 3.
It'll be A plus 6.
A plus 6. And see, once you get good with these, you can go straight to a plus 6 squared equals 0. Square root both sides to give you a plus 6. Property is called the square root property. What it allows you to do is if you have a squared quantity, it could be just a variable or it could be a whole binomial like we've had. If you have a squared quantity, you can take the square root of both sides. Okay? And then to get rid of that squared quantity. The only thing is, whenever you're supposed to do it besides with 0, because 0 is neutral, right? You're supposed to put plus, whoops, where'd it go? Come on. You need to put plus or minus in front of it. Okay? Here's why. Example. X squared equals 25. How many numbers can you square and get 25? 2. Which 2 are there? 5. 5 and? Negative 5. What's negative 5 times negative 5?
Oh.
Positive 25. Okay. So
Does
for
that mean every number has two, like at least 2?
yeah. So that's why anytime you put a square root into a problem that your purpose is solving an equation for, it always generates 2 possibilities because of that reason. Okay. So when you put in a square root, you can also put in plus or minus because it generates 2. Okay. So, for example, the way I start off showing this is like this. We have the quantity on the left. See that? Y minus 6, quantity squared equals 81. Since you have just the quantity, you're going to take the square root. Both sides. Okay? Now, it cancels out the square root on the y minus 6. And what I do, square root of 81 is what? 9. Okay? So what I do, I split these up into 2 cases. One, y minus 6 equals 9. And the other one being y minus 6 equals? Negative 9. So add 6 to both of them. So y equals 15. Y equals negative 3. And if this is true and this all works, you should be able to take both of these, because remember, you're using normal quadratic equations, you should get 2 answers. Both of these into this y, and it should work. So let's try it. What's 15 minus 6? 15 minus 6 is 9. 9 squared is? 81. Gets you to your answer, right? What's negative 3 minus 6? Negative 9. What's negative 9 quantity squared? 81. So they both work. Okay? That's why you have to take both the positive side and the negative side to make sure you get both these answers. Questions on that? Second one there, same way. Square root both sides.
X plus 6 equals 6. Positive.
Oh, hold up. X plus 6 equals, what's the square root of 12?
Oh.
Federico. Nope.
I wasn't tripping, my bad.
Humbert. Nope.
There is one.
There is one, it's just not what?
Whole number.
It's just not perfect, yeah. Okay? It's not perfect. So here's what I want you to do. Alright, when you take the square root, so you set 1. X plus 6 equals square root of 12. Not x. The other one, x plus 6 equals negative square root of 12. It's super important to make sure that negative is on the outside of the square root, not the inside. Don't worry about it. Just make sure. Don't worry about the reasons. You don't want to know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Subtract 6 from both sides. So you get x equals negative 6 plus the square root of 12. Subtract 6, you get x equals negative 6 minus square root of 12. And those two are your answers. I know. I need to get my life together, I know. All right, hold on. This ain't right. Page number's right. Okay, let's see. It is 13 through 21 odd. 38 through 41 and 46. Okay, 13 through 21 odd, page 527, 38 through 41 and 46. This may start on 526, just so you know. Okay, it may start there. I had that wrote down on the timeline, so just, it might start there. Just don't freak out if it's not starting on 527.